Hey, it's travelgigolo and this is a review of Nossob campsite. Nossob campsite is located about halfway north to south in the middle of the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park on the South African side. So you may be wondering, why is Nossob so green and lush? Well, it's not. We were filming at Nossob and we got caught up with lions and Cape Cobras and exciting stuff, and so we kind of ran out of time to film. So we're doing the filming remotely. So this is a review of the general campsites, not the premium campsites, which I've done in a separate episode, so you can have a look at that if you're interested in the premium campsites. How to get Nossob. So how to get to the Kgalagadi. The Kgalagadi is about 250 kilometers from Upington, which is far from everywhere. And once you get to the Kgalagadi main gate, it's still about at least a 3-hour drive to Nossob campsite itself. So you've got to take that into account when you're planning to get to Nossob campsite. You've got to get to the gate quite early. Unlike us, of course, we're never early. So we got there just in time to get in and drive all the way to Nossob without stopping. It's about 160 kilometers from the main gate, from Purchaseables campsite to Nossob. Now it's entirely gravel road, it's entirely dirt road from the time that you leave the gate to the time you get to Nossob, and there's a 50 km/h speed limit. What kind of vehicle do you need? Almost any vehicle. However, it does get quite corrugated, that can be a little bit uncomfortable, so it's probably better to go with something that's good on corrugations and that sort of stuff. But you don't need any particular type of vehicle to get there. You don't need a 4x4, you don't particularly need significant clearance. It's just got to be a vehicle that's comfortable to drive on a dirt road. Now that is specifically referring to the road to Nossob and the South African side. If you're going to go to the Botswana side, Maboa-Sehube, then that gets very sandy and you must have a 4x4. I would say that you can pretty much take any kind of trailer or caravan there. Obviously you've got to drive accordingly, but you can drive a caravan or trailer to the campsite. No special requirements. Of course, like I said, it gets a bit corrugated, but if you're a trailer or caravan driver, I think you'd be able to negotiate that. The Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park is remote, and of course Nossob being in the center of the park is also very remote. There isn't a main power supply to the campsite. There are set of generators and they supply electricity from 6 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night. Note, as with almost all SANParks national parks, you need a caravan adapter to plug your normal 3-pin plug into. And if you don't bring one, you can buy it from the shop, usually at a small premium, so you can get them on site. The electrical plug point is usually located between 2 campsites, and you will find a socket each for each campsite. You will also find the tap there that gives you drinkable water. It's a little bit brackish, actually it's very brackish. I recommend that you use bottled water, whatever the case is. And you'll also find a dustbin there. So there are shared facilities for every 2 campsites. One of the great things about Nossob campsite is that the campsites mostly are very nicely delineated, and I actually wish this would be the case at all SANParks. It kind of makes it easy to choose your campsite and stay in your area, and it's clear when a campsite is being used or not being used or whatever the case is. So very nicely set up and delineated. There are braai facilities, the usual SANParks braai, which is a steel braai little dish with a nice grid on top of it. We of course always take our trusty little Weber braai with us, which is great as well. There's no lighting at the campsites. There's electricity, but there's no lighting. So if you want lighting, you've got to bring your own. There's absolutely no grass. This is an arid, semi-arid area, so there's absolutely no grass, no lawn. It is sandy. However, there's really good shade at most of the campsites. The campsites that don't have shade often have a wooden structure over them to provide some relief from the sun. You're allowed a maximum of 6 people on the campsite, and the sites are sized accordingly. You can quite comfortably fit 6 people on the campsite. I would say you can quite comfortably fit 3 tents on the campsite, depending on how you set yourselves up. The campsite that we were in was right on the edge, which is nice because that gives you a little bit extra space. This is a very dry area, particularly when it hasn't been raining, which is most of the time because it's arid. And so there's a bucket on site, which is a fire bucket. So if there is, for example, a fire, then you have the opportunity to try and do something about it. Very nice bathrooms on the site, men's bathroom and ladies' bathroom, of course. In the bathrooms, you will find a set of showers as well as a set of basins. Showers are nice because they've got a little seat on which you can put your stuff and a little hanger and a rail that you can hang your stuff on as well. So that's really nice. The bathrooms were immaculately clean the entire time that we were there. So a big commendment to National Parks on that. Well done, guys. The bathroom facilities were really nice in the time that we were there. It was great. During our time there, the campsite was not entirely full, probably about 3/4 full, but at no time was there a shortage of facilities. So the facilities, I think, are more than adequate for the number of people that they can fit on the site. And I believe they've now also installed a baby bath in the ladies section. The hot water is supplied both by solar geysers and electricity as well, which is really nice, which means that you get a hot shower early in the morning if you are an early morning person, and you get a hot shower late in the evening before the power goes off if you are a night owl like myself. There's a scullery come laundry where you can do your dishes, and there's a couple of basins there as well where you can do your clothes at. There are no washing machines on this site, although there are washing machines on the Travelgigolo site. And in addition to this, there's also a kitchen with stoves and a sink there if you want to go prepare stuff in that area too. There's a swimming pool on the site, a very nice swimming pool actually. Great for those hot summer days, not so great for those cold winter days because the desert gets really cold, but beautiful swimming pool on the site. What can you buy? Fuel. Very important if you are in the Kgalagadi because you are far from everywhere. So there's a fuel station at the Nossob site and at the other campsites as well. In addition to that, there is also a shop where you can get supplies from. Now the shop is largely basic supplies like ice, and there is meat, and there are drinks, and there are snacks and so on. You can get quite a bit of stuff in there. However, if you want something special, you've got to bring it obviously to your campsite and have that as part of your planning when you're going to the campsite. But the shop is fairly well stocked, and you will get most of what you need on a sort of day-to-day basis for your camping. It's probably advisable though to bring a fair amount of your groceries with you, especially fresh stuff like vegetables and that sort of thing. Take note, you can order some freshly baked bread, some authentic homemade type bread at the site. You've just got to order it though a day in advance. So it's really nice that they'll bring you a nice fresh loaf, or you go collect a nice fresh loaf at the end of the day. The nearest town is Askam, which is a very small town, but you can get some stuff there. There's a couple of shops there and a garage and so on. The nearest town of significance is Uppington, which is about 250 kilometers away, and Uppington is a large urban center. Note, however, that Uppington is 250 kilometers from Travelgigolo, from the main gate. So getting to Uppington from Nossob is 250 kilometers plus at least a 3-hour drive from Nossob to the main gate. So it's a fair distance to get to Uppington. Gate times, well, we were there 7 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and that's in April, towards the end of April. Note that that is going to change from season to season, obviously longer in the summer and shorter in the winter time. Also note that they're very serious about the gate times, so please make sure that you abide by those gate times. Yes, we are heading straight then.
Straight.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Management of the site is exceptional. The site was in very good condition. Everything was working, everything was clean, everything was on time. That needs to be noted, and well done again to SANParks on that note. Stuff to do at the campsite, in the campsite. There is a hide, which is a really nice hide, and especially at night because it's got a light shining over the watering hole. And so that's a really cool place to be and to spend a bit of time, especially if you come back from being out and so on, and you've had your supper and you're sitting in camp, you've got nothing to do until the lights go off at 10 o'clock, then go to the hide. I highly recommend it. You can book game drives as well, early morning and late evening. Just make sure that you do your booking in advance. You've got to do it the day before because they've got to plan to get the vehicles there and the guides and so on. So book the day before. Birding's pretty good in the campsite too, so you're going to see quite a lot of birds in there, and you'll see some small animals as well like mongoose and ground squirrels and the occasional snake. Things to take note of. There are scorpions. Definitely recommend that you wear closed shoes at night. Occasionally there are snakes in the campsite as well, so if you've got a pile of wood or something like that, then be careful about things like puff adders which like to crawl into spaces like that. What kind of camp is this for? Basically anyone. You don't need a special vehicle to get there. You don't need any special camping equipment. Almost everything you need is there with the exception of lighting. So basically anybody can camp at Nossob campsite. I don't think you need any kind of special equipment or planning or whatever. I will add, however, that it is a fair distance not just to get to the park, but to get to Nossob campsite as well. So I think, take that into your planning, and it is a bit of a slog to get there, unless of course you either stay just outside the park, there is a lodge there, or if you stay at Fair and then transfer to Nossob, whatever the case might be. So, quick recap. What is there? There is electricity from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. There is water. It is brackish. I recommend that you bring bottled water with you, but you can use it for other stuff. There's a dustbin. There is a braai facility. There's really nice shade. There's a shop with basics in it, ice, meat, snacks, etc. There is fuel. There is compressed air if you need it for your tires. There's a great swimming pool. There's a really nice hide as well. There are bathroom facilities. There is a kitchen as well if you're not going to braai. There is a little laundry cum scullery area also. So pretty much everything that you could reasonably expect. What isn't there? No grass, of course. It's in the desert. And no lights. However, there are lights in the bathroom and kitchen area. How to book? Easiest way to do it is through the online portal. There's a link below. And of course, you can phone SANParks too. Would I recommend Nossob campsite? Yes. It's our favorite campsite actually in the Kgalagadi on the South African side, not because of the campsite itself, but because of its location within the park. It's also a favorite of many people, so it's actually quite difficult to book at certain times of the year. So if you're gonna get a booking in there, make sure you get in nice and early. So thanks to everyone that keeps that campsite a well-oiled machine. We always had help when we needed it, with fuel, with compressed air for the tires, with the shop, with reception, with getting our permit, etc. So really nicely set up and run. So I hope you found that informative. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Leave a comment below if you've got a question. Leave a comment. I will answer those or get to them as quickly as I can with information that I do have. And if you want to leave a tip, there's a buy me a coffee link below, totally voluntary. Until the next episode, go everywhere, see everything, have a great time.